If you are interested in learning how to make this easy sourdough bread and starter, please keep watching. First of all, you need to start with a starter, and all it is flour and water. And here is mine. Once it's been in the I keep it in the fridge because it's really hot here in Australia. And to get it growing again, to make a loaf, I just put in 2 tablespoons of flour and a splash of filtered water, just room temperature, and then just need to mix it up. And the consistency that you're looking for once you've mixed up your starter is a bit thicker than yogurt. You don't want it to be super wet because then that means that drop it. You don't want it to be super wet because then there's not enough sort of fresh flour there for the starter to grow. So you can see that's a bit too runny. So I'm going to add in another tablespoon of flour, and I just alternate sort of flour and water until I get that right consistency. And when I'm doing my starter, I'm making sure that I'm getting all the bits of live starter from around the top of the jar and pushing them down into the new mix to make sure that there's not sort of any older bits. So you can see it's a bit thicker now, and I'm just going to leave that on my bench at room temperature, and depending on how hot it is, it'll take a couple of hours. I'll leave it till the evening, and it just sits there and does its thing. And here we are in the evening, and my starter is all done. So now I'm going to start making the bread. And the recipe that I use, or the measurements I use, is from a website, Stone and Soup, which is an Australian blogger's website, and I'll link her recipe down below. But it's basically 325 grams of flour to 275 of filtered water, 110 of your starter that you've made, and you can see it's now grown and the bubbles are sort of evenly distributed, and a pinch of salt. And you can see the sourdough starter is now that kind of gloopy, runny texture that I had when I first fed my starter. You do need to add the salt. I find that the loaf really does taste different just with that small amount. And I'm just going to mix my starter together by hand, no machine, no kneading. And I'm actually showing you in real time so you can see how easy this recipe is. And I'm just making sure I've got as much flour as I can off the sides of my bowl. And you can see the dough really does start to come together, and it kind of cleans the sides of the bowl as you move it around. And that's what you're looking for, that consistency. And then I try and get as much off the spoon as possible. I'm a really messy cook. I get stuff everywhere. Alright. And now, rather than just leave my starter with no fresh flour in there, I sort of like to prep it for next time. So I'm just going to add in my 1 spoonful of flour over the bowl I'm already using. 2 spoonfuls of flour because, as I said, messy cook. A touch of water, not much because the sourdough is already quite liquid. And I'm just going to use my same spoon to mix that through. And then once that's all mixed up, I'm just going to put it back in my fridge. And I leave my sourdough in my fridge door. I find that's not too cold. And I've sort of left it almost 2 weeks in there, and it's still happy to make another loaf for me when I decide to feed it again. So there you are. I'm just going to cover my dough, which you can see sort of looks a bit like Play-Doh texture, with cling wrap, and I'm going to leave it again at room temperature overnight, and I'm going to bake it off in the morning. So the next morning I put my Dutch oven in on my top shelf, and I set my oven to conventional, and I put it at the hottest setting it will go. It's a bit scary cooking at that temperature the first time you do it, but it makes the best bread. And this is the sourdough bread dough after its little sleep, and you can see it's all kind of, it's risen a little bit, it doesn't rise a heap, and it's beautiful and springy, and it will also have a sour smell, so you can tell that it's fermented. You can leave it for longer or in the fridge, you know, up to 2 days. I'm not so keen on doing that. I think the taste gets a bit too sour. And then now I'm going to shape my loaf, so you can see I've got my silpat on one end of my bench, and I'm just floured the other end of the bench, so I've got 2 floured spaces. And you want to make sure you've got a good coating of flour, because this stuff sticks and you just end up in a big mess. I used to try not to use so much flour, but you know, the mess just got to me. And then I just use a pastry card to scrape it all out. I mean, you could use your fingers, but flour your hands well first. You can see it's quite stiff, but the gluten has really developed. It's fun watching it move. And this loaf, I've decided I'm going to put some other ingredients in. There's all different things you could add in at this point. You could add in some leftover olives, grated cheese, nuts. I'm going to add in some sultanas or raisins. I've done walnuts and raisins, that's really lovely. You could do some chili flakes, caraway seeds, whatever you like. I would say though, make sure your filling is not too wet, because you don't want it to inhibit the rise of your loaf. Here I am looking for the walnuts, but I think I give up. Yep, too hard in the morning. So here we go, I'm flouring my hands and I'm folding the edge in, and I'm going in a circular motion, and I think I do about 20 folds. So here I am on my second go round, just folding it in. I'm trying to keep the sultanas on the inside. They burn a bit if they're on the outside. You can see this is quite a tight loaf, and then I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to flip it so it's seam side down onto my silpat, and that's just going to have, I'm going to put on my flour because I'm really paranoid about it sticking. Just going to put my cling wrap back on top until my pan or my Dutch oven is finished preheating. You can use any shaped Dutch oven that you like. The smaller the Dutch oven, the higher the rise you'll get. And now I am going to show you my setup. I have these really old flattened oven mitts. Remember, this pan is like 260 degrees and it's cast iron, so you really want to be prepared when you get it out. My other tip is don't pick it up with a wet tea towel for your pot holders, because it will steam instantly and you'll get a burn. So I use 2 clean tea towels, one on each handle, and I've just lifted off the lid, and I'm going to sprinkle the bottom with some polenta. You can use semolina if you like, but I really like the smell as the polenta hits the bottom of the pan. It kind of smells like popcorn. So just do a light coating of that, and here we go. I'm going to put it in, and the easiest way I found it is to pick up the whole silpat. You can just use baking paper if you like, and I'm going to flip it on top. Not very glamorous or accurate, as you can see. I usually end up hitting a side, but I didn't burn myself. And here I go. I'm going to pick my lid up again with the clean tea towel, setting my oven for 20 minutes at top temperature. So you can see it's there. And in we go. And then I turn my oven down after 20 minutes to about 200 for another 10 minutes. You can take the lid off if you like it really crusty, but I'm not a fan of that. My oven runs hot though, so if you've got a colder oven you might like that. And here we have the smell of beautiful fresh bread wafting through the house. And this is what it looks like. So a total of 35 minutes cooking. And you have to get it out pretty soon and put it on a tray, otherwise the steam underneath sort of makes it go soggy. It loses its crispness, and you do have to try and wait before you cut it, or you will get a steam burn. So I'll fast forward so you can see how lovely it is when I cut into it. So here is, you can see the bottom of the loaf, and I've cut myself a slice, and I really like just having my bread with butter on, but you can have whatever you like. This combo is nice with cheese, or also macadamia nut butter is beautiful, and if you are vegan, it's also nice just on its own. Anyway, I hope you give it a go and enjoy it as much as we do. Bye!